Welcome to Sitting with Sallie. Today I have Kaija Saarinen with me. She is the Senior Community Liaison Engagement for Science North.
Yes.
I got that almost right, I think.
It's
That's
a
quite a
long
mouthful.
title.
It's
Yes.
quite a mouthful. So you have been traveling throughout the Northwest.
Absolutely, yeah. I've been traveling to tons of different communities, everywhere from Fort Francis, Sioux Lookout, Red Lake, lots of work in Kenora, all the way to Marathon, Terrace Bay, Nakina, Geraldton, and everywhere in between as well.
I want to hear that Kenora is your favorite place, of course.
Yes, I definitely love this community, and that's why I'm excited that Science North wants to do some really cool projects here.
And why have you been traveling to these communities, and what have you been doing there?
So we're definitely going to the different communities. We just want to always bring a really fun and entertaining science experience everywhere we go. So we're there to just do some outreach, introduce new audiences to really cool, fun science. But we're also getting a lot of input because we have an exciting project coming up and we want the public to help shape that project.
And can you just recall some of the interesting comments people may have made?
Well, a lot of people already have said that Science North, they do know us in the communities, which is awesome to hear. We do summer camp programs, we do science festival, just lots of really interesting stuff. So already it's great to know that people know our presence and they're excited when they're there because they know it's going to be a lot of fun. And the input, a lot of people just want to see more of us. You know, we in a lot of the communities, we're a small staff, we're based out of Thunder Bay, and we do these really crazy road trips where we get to go into schools and different community events. But yeah, the feedback is definitely they want more Science North, and we're happy to try our best to deliver that.
And I know this past summer, the Great North Roadshow came to Kenora.
Yeah, we actually went to a huge amount of communities all over northwestern Ontario, and yeah, it was a really fun turnout, and it was awesome because it's not only science. What we were doing with the Great Northern Ontario Roadshow, we were bringing out local business vendors, local entertainers, just really getting back, the post-pandemic, being able to gather again, but also just really support local, especially the businesses that did have a tougher time with the pandemic. Make sure people are out there shopping local, but also just enjoying themselves.
I visited the insects, and I had a little walking stick about this big walk across my hand.
Oh yeah, they're very cool. And it's funny, you think some people are not insect people. You just gotta meet the right insect, and I think there's one for everyone.
And as you're saying, people are saying they want more
Yes,
Science North.
yes.
And following that, you have a great news to talk about.
Yeah, our exciting announcement is we are building science centers as a part of our Northwestern expansion project in Thunder Bay, but also in Kenora.
And in Kenora, it's going to be at the Discovery Center.
Yeah, so we already have a ton of cool stuff that goes on at the Discovery Center. We have 2 permanent exhibits, and it's really fun, hands-on, interactive, not just for kids. Really, anyone can go in and enjoy our Northern Nature Traders or our Think Hub. But we're going to be on top of that, and on top of the traveling exhibits, which we put in there, we're going to be building about a 4,000 square foot addition. And that way we'll have a lot of really cool permanent visitor experiences. There's going to be stuff inside and outside, but also a lot of stuff that's going to change. So you can come back every few weeks. You're going to see really cool current research in the area, and everything from science of our natural area, which is something that everyone in Kenora and the visitors really love to see. But we want all kinds of science involved.
So 4,000 square feet is a big addition to the Discovery Center.
It's a decent size for sure. And what's nice is we have a great partnership with the city already working and using that space. It's just going to be a really cool use of the building. And then, like I said, we just need a little more space because we have lots of cool stuff that we want to bring and lots of cool experiences.
And I understand that people are working on the architecture plans.
So right now we're in the schematic design phase. So we have a whole team that's dedicated to this project, and we've hired the architectural collective, and we have representation from Kenora, from Thunder Bay, Toronto and Winnipeg. They're all working together to make these science centers very unique and very much what the community wants to see. And then we have a visitor experience firm that we work with. So the Science North team, we are going out and just doing tons of research of what's cool in the area, answering those questions the community has about, the different phenomena in the region and what people want to see in the science center. And we get to design everything ourselves. So it's really cool. That's why a lot of the traveling in the community, I ask people, what would you want to see in a science center for events, but also the exhibitry and the visitor experiences you get to have. And we've had lots of really great feedback, and people can give me the craziest idea, but science is in everything, and science is everywhere. That I had a kid that told me, he's like, I don't like science, I like hockey. And I said, well, Sidney Crosby knows a lot about science of physics and how bodies work, because that's how he's the best hockey player, right? It's you got to learn that science. So I told him, if you want to be the best hockey player, you're going to need to learn about physics. You're going to need to learn about, how your body moves, and then you're going to be the best. And he kind of had those wheels turning, That's how you get kids hooked in. You think you might not like, your classroom chemistry, but when you learn about kind of the cool ways it applies to life and how it explains things.
And we don't really understand how there's science in almost everything. Like cooking is science.
Absolutely, yes. Oh yeah, cooking and baking and, just walking down the road and the really amazing geology that we have in our area and the rock cuts, like they tell an incredible story.
So I understand David Nelson was the architect for the Discovery Center.
Yeah.
And he's going to be involved with this project.
Yeah. So he's one of our architects, which is great. It's already a very sustainable, green, really great building in that. And it's beautiful. So we're just going to keep expanding on that and make sure we're just as efficient and green as possible too in the build, which everyone's really on board for, which is awesome.
And you're hoping that by March 2023, the actual digging for the building will begin?
Well, we'll definitely have all of our architecture plans, all of our visitor experiences really firmed up. The missing piece is fundraising. So we do have to raise quite a bit of money to get these projects going, but we've had tons of government support, which has been awesome. It's really hard to deny that this is something that we need. Science North, we say we're in the North and we're for all of the North. So we want to make these centers really accessible, because if you're traveling to Sudbury or Toronto or Edmonton, that's a lot of money and it's a lot of time that some people just don't have, and it's a once time where you want something available. Yeah, and we shouldn't be punished for our geography being in isolated, sparsely populated areas compared to Toronto. Like our youth and our adults and everyone, we deserve all the access to these really cool experiences. And so yeah, we've had lots of government support, but we don't want to sit around forever and debate and wait for this money to come to us. We're going to do a pretty awesome fundraising campaign. We're going to be looking for really great sponsors, but also do lots of fun fundraising, community-based stuff, just to make sure we can get this project going, because everyone is so excited about it. It's going to be tough to wait it out. So we want to get the ball rolling for sure.
And Science North, the concept of it as a discovery center or museum is different from other science centers.
Yeah, definitely. Science North in Sudbury, so we have our big Science North and we have Dynamic Earth, which is more of the earth science based. Science North is really renowned. Like, we are a very different center. We always have our scientists, which are called our blue coats, and you'll see us around, especially if any of the traveling exhibits at the Discovery Center now. And we always make sure that we have scientists on the floor ready to engage, ready to answer your questions, ready to have fun with you. And it's cool because everyone has their own specialty and things they're interested in. And a lot of our stuff is tinkering and building. And, if there's nothing else to do, like, our scientists get to just have fun and do their own experiments and do cool stuff, and then you can jump in and learn and participate. And yeah, we make sure we always have really exciting, awesome staff on hand. That's what sets us apart, is we are fully immersed in that experience, and we want to take you along for the ride.
And we're going to take a little break right now. So come back and we'll talk about some of the exhibits at the Discovery Center. Welcome back to Sitting with Sallie. I have Kaija Saarinen with me. We're talking about Science North coming to Kenora and expanding at the Discovery Center, the Space Fair. And you were talking about the future project, but even now, Science North is in the Discovery Center.
Yeah, it's honestly such a hidden gem. I know a lot of visitors go into the Discovery Center because it's kind of the first stop in Kenora for a lot of people, but locals are really missing out on such cool stuff we have there. We have two permanent exhibits. We have the Northern Nature Traders, it's really neat. You can go out and you can collect different specimens from outside. We also accept, if kids want to do art projects or science projects, and it's fun because it's a game, it's a point system. So you bring in your cool stuff, you get points, and you can trade up for different things in nature. And it's really awesome. It's really popular. And we have them all over northwestern Ontario too.
So, for example, In the fall, quite often there's a lot of mushrooms growing.
Oh, yes.
If I brought some mushrooms in, someone would look at them?
Yeah, everything, rocks, pine cones, lots of really different interesting specimens, lots of different kinds of rocks, and we can help you identify them. And yeah, then the more stuff you bring in, and yeah, we've done a lot too. We've focused a lot on people making creative projects, which is really fun and something different because, art and science go so hand in hand. And yeah, the more points you collect, it kind of game, you can make it a competition, but then you can also cash in your points for some cool stuff, which is awesome.
Okay. And Northwestern Ontario.
Yeah.
Rocks.
Oh,
I
yes.
think of the geology.
Yeah.
So how does that feature at Science North?
So it is a part of the Northern Nature Traders, but definitely as we design the Science Center, some of the main feedback we've gotten, especially from kids, adults, all ages, is they love the ecology and wildlife and ecosystems of the area, but rocks. Everyone loves rocks. It's so universal.
We have a lot of them too.
Yeah, and it's really great in Sudbury. In our science center there, we do have a lapidary lab where you can go in and polish rocks. And that's something that people say, we don't want to exactly copy everything in the science center, but rocks are just so universally loved. We want to make sure not only are we explaining our very cool regional geology, which is such a great story, we want to teach people and give them the tools that when you're out and you see something cool, you can learn to identify it and identify, the processes of how it was created, but then also potentially bring in that rock lab. Like I said, everyone is really excited about it. I'm excited about it. I would use that, and then we can have fun with our rocks in the science
There'll be
center.
a lineup for people to polish their rocks.
Oh, absolutely. And I know even my daughter is she's not even quite 2 yet, and rocks we've got them in the pockets. I am the official holder of all the rocks we find on the walks, so it starts early and it never ends.
It sounds like there's a lot of things for kids of all ages. And what about for adults?
So we definitely want to make this a center that's for everybody. There's quite a few misconceptions. I know people that haven't been before usually think, kids only and there's nothing for me. But with Science North, we really are focused on every kind of audience. We want to make this center somewhere that people just feel really welcome and at home, and not feel excluded or not feel that they can't participate in it. So we do have stuff for all ages. And as we design it, we want to make sure it's with the technology too. We're so lucky that we can make things that are designed for, you can interact with it with the younger kids, but also you can step it up a level and interact with it, as an adult or as a teen. And it's not just what's going to be permanently in the exhibits or moving through the exhibits. What especially for adults really seem to like in our other science centers and with our outreaches are our programming. So it's going to be doing things, at the Brew Co, we did the Brain Tap, where we have different speakers come in and we have trivia and science demonstrations, but then you can enjoy, a cocktail and a beer while we do that. And being so close to the universities and the experimental lakes areas, we want to have lecturers come in and you can hear about this really cool research that's going on too. So we want to make sure it's definitely a space for everyone. And when we ask for people's input, we want to know what kind of events that you want to see or what would make it a really cool place. And even we think of these details as even if you're coming in with kids or just wanting to come in and have a coffee in a really cool location, we make sure there's really nice seating areas too. So we want to make sure it's a really accessible, fun area, and it's not just, the kid zone and only kids are going to have fun there. We want to make sure everyone really
want to bring out
it.
the nerdiness in all of us.
Exactly. And that's the fun thing about Science North is we a lot of people are like, oh, science. Okay. I didn't love going to chemistry class in high school, but we only do fun, entertaining kinds of science. And like I said, there's science in everything. And what we want to do is make those connections where you see these cool phenomena or you learn about something and you're like, I didn't even realize that was science. And now I'm interested in it and I want to learn more, which is always our goal, to create a few more little nerdy scientists is what we're here for.
Yes, that's your goal.
Yeah.
I'm very glad to hear about partnerships with the experimental lakes, because I really think that that's one of Kenora's best kept secrets.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, he did the head of the experimental lakes was speaking at our Brain Tap event that we had in Kenora in September. And there's just such amazing, important worldwide research going on there. And what we want to do is with this science center, be very up to date with this current research, working with Parks Canada and the Ontario Ministries and the universities, especially so close by in in Manitoba, just to know like what is going on, what are you checking out, what are these results, and have some real-time information for people to catch up with.
I was going to say, it's not only worldwide research, it's
Mm-hmm.
research because it's whole ecosystems that
Oh,
it can't be
yes.
done anywhere else.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what's so fascinating.
And it's something that we should be very
Yeah.
proud of too. It's, we
Yes.
have this beautiful area. We should definitely be good stewards and take care of it, because we're so lucky to live where we are. We no one else in the world has the place
So
that we have.
I would think that teenagers are a little hard to reach at times.
Yes, definitely. And we have seen that too in our Sudbury location. So we actually have staff that are dedicated to new audiences, saying, who do we not see so much at the Science Center and how do we reach out to them? So they've done things, we have the IMAX screen. They had a video game night where you could play video games on the IMAX screen. And yeah, I know for my research, trying to reach these new audience, I've been working the Thunder Bay Public Library. They have like a youth coordinator, and they do anime club and stuff like that. So, she's such a great resource for me to talk to and say, how have you been reaching out to these kids? Because I know, especially for teenagers, what we've heard is a lot of them think, I don't want to do the little kid stuff and it's not cool. And, but we'll find out what they think is cool. We'll bring out the science behind it and we'll make it really fun.
And you mentioned the summer camp, and the science summer camp has been going on for a number of years.
And it is so popular and awesome. And what we hope is, the feedback we always get is they want more and more and more of the summer camps. And with Science North, with this expansion, what we hope for is the science centers in Thunder Bay and Kenora, we will have more permanent staff. With this successful operation of the science centers, we can get more money to enrich our other programs and reach more people.
And the other permanent exhibit you said is a Think Hub?
Think Hub, yeah. So that is very much for building and tinkering. And that one is awesome for all ages because, everyone from little kids to adults, there's the Rube Goldberg machine where you're building the chain reaction where you're knocking over dominoes and playing with lots of really cool, fun stuff. But we also have amplifiers, and you can build your own instrument with elastic bands and learn about that. So those are the ones that you can challenge people and set up different things and try different activities, but also you can come back again and again, and you can make it different every time and a different experience, which is what we want. We are not the science center where you walk through once and you're like, well, that was cool, and never go back again, because we want to make it interactive, hands-on, and different, that you can enjoy it a lot.
And I imagine, Science North was built about 30 years ago, and I imagine technology has made things a lot different today.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's so interesting because everyone at Science North is a wealth of knowledge because they built that place from the ground up, and we still have on staff and a lot of our retirees that come back and help with projects. They were there, from day one of planning, and they've learned the hard lessons of this worked and this didn't work, and I would have done this differently. So we are so lucky to have all that amazing knowledge behind us. And with the Science North, and they've gone through a lot of changes in their building, and that has really shaped us to say, we want things that we can move around and play with the spacing as needed so we can fit in new exhibits and change things up. And yeah, we're lucky to have the cool technology now, even things like virtual reality, right? Like a few years ago, that was super expensive, super inaccessible, but now we can really bring that experience in. And one of the cool groups that we've been working with is Parks Canada with their marine area in Nipigon, and they have underwater drones where they can film up to 100 meters deep. They're looking at shipwrecks. They're looking at the Silver Island mine, and we can put that experience, who wouldn't want to see what's going on under Lake of the Woods and check out, fish in their natural habitat? Because if you're not scuba diving, then you really don't get that experience. You don't get that chance. Yeah, so yes. There's a lot of cool stuff we can do, and it's becoming a lot more accessible and more available for us to bring to the public.
And we're going to take another quick break, come back and hear some more exciting innovations. Welcome back to Sitting with Sallie. I have Kaija Saarinen with me from Science North, and in doing my research, I found an interesting quote. Science North is Northern Ontario's most popular tourist attraction and an educational resource for children and adults across the globe.
Absolutely, yeah. And a lot of people don't know this, but we do have a really amazing global reach. We had designed traveling exhibits that go everywhere. And traveling exhibits, we've housed quite a few in the Discovery Center. I think we're on number 5 now. So they do come through usually about once every year or two. So definitely stay tuned to our social media and the Discovery Center, because it's just amazing the things that we can build and we can share with the entire world and teach them about science. And it's same thing. It's not just a in-your-face science where people think, boring textbook stuff. We had Beyond Human Limits, where it was looking at extreme sports and, the human body and the physics and the cool stuff behind that. And Indigenous Ingenuity is on tour right now. And that one is just so incredible. And everything is hands-on and fun. You can shoot a bow and arrow. You're doing virtual reality on a dog sled. You can build an igloo. And it's just really cool stuff. So we do, it's something we should be proud of. It's everyone knows us in Northern Ontario, but we're actually really well known all over the place.
And you have some underlying themes that you're focusing on for the Kenora.
Absolutely. So when we ask people what they want to see, we take that into account, because we want people to be excited to come and visit. But basically interwoven throughout the entire center, we're not just going to have every little type of science in its own box. It's also integrated. Yeah, absolutely. So Indigenous knowledge is going to be absolutely at the forefront of everything we do in these science centers. It's the original scientists who knew this world so much better than we could ever have imagined, and just continuing with the innovation. So we want to make sure that is absolutely recognized. And then we also have as underlying themes to climate change, because it does affect absolutely everything. And it's just involved in so many different kinds of science, and especially in our region, we are really seeing those effects, and how to mitigate them, but also just how to explain them. And then along with that, kind of the third underlying theme is just environmental stewardship. Like, we always want to make sure we have such an amazing natural environment, but so much of the science, like, we want to make sure we're doing our part to make the world a bit of a better place, and it's really manageable, small things that we can do ourselves. Just because if we don't take the time to really make the effort, things are going to get a lot worse, and we're not going to be able to enjoy the Science Center, much less many other things in life. Yeah.
And I was thinking, when you were talking about climate change, I mean, we've always had climate change.
Absolutely.
It's just that it's gotten to such a rapid pace, and it's been so drastic that we are really paying attention to it.
And we have to. And I know a lot of people, and there's a lot of psychology behind it, but a lot of people feel like, it's really far off in the future, and there's a lot of barriers of why people aren't really acknowledging things or reacting. And a lot of it too is either they feel like it's too far away, or it's not affecting them personally, or it feels like too much of a scary gloom and doom problem that they cannot act to make a measurable change.
That's really important. It's so overwhelming that what can I possibly do to make any difference? But so what can I do?
A lot of stuff. and it is really meaningful. I know you feel like you're one person, but it's you and talking to your friends and family and getting them to make the small changes. Yeah. And it's lots of little stuff, and it's lots of stuff that's not going to affect you in a terrible way. And my kind of favorite ones are always just to try and rely less on your vehicle. If you need to run to the store, or you're doing a little errand, loop them together, try and make it really efficient, or, for the health of yourself. And it's really nice and social and good for everything, is to get out and go for a walk and get outside. I always like to focus on using less plastics if possible. Plastics are everywhere. It's a very convenience thing, but also I think the market's reacting, and they have, the reusable straw that I know you're a big fan of.
my little stainless. I should have brought it with.
Yeah,
and carrying your own recyclable bags.
Absolutely. And even things like containers that you can use, and just really relying less on those single-use plastics.
I've switched a lot to glass containers.
Yeah, exactly. And they have such cool things that my boss has a little leather strap that you can put on a mason jar, and then it's a travel mug. They have, like, people are getting really creative to help us cut down. And even a lot of the restaurants are taking it upon themselves to switch to wooden cutlery and compostable and recyclable containers. So any businesses that are doing that, you really have to send them accolades, because no one's forcing them to. They're doing it out of being great stewards. So there's focusing less on your plastic use is also a really helpful thing.
Around the house, in the yard and things, there's a few things you can do.
Definitely. And since we're getting into the fall, my favorite one, which is because I love to be a little bit lazy and not rake, is leaving your leaf litter down. You have like an amazing ecosystem of such cool animals and bugs that are under there, and they really need that litter. And
And
it's
it
helpful
actually
for them.
breaks down and feeds the ground.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's a good thing, and I know people like to have the clean lawn look, but that is not great for the environment. So I say take a day off, go for a nice walk, and enjoy outside, and don't rake this fall, and the ecosystem will thank you.
Our favorite is not mowing the lawn, and we have lots of little frogs that live underneath,
Oh,
and lots of
nice.
bees that are feeding on the
Yeah,
wildflowers.
and even the people think the dandelions are a weed, but they're really helpful for a lot of different animals.
They're
So
a flower.
yeah, exactly, and I think they look lovely.
So winter is coming, as we all know. What
Yeah.
should we do in winter?
There is a lot of things we can do to make ourselves really green. One of the awesome things is to, make sure your house is efficient, plastic those windows, keep your drafts down. It's going to save you a lot of money too, which is great. And even things like, it's not just winter specific, but water usage, water. Have such an abundance of it in Northwestern Ontario. A lot of people don't think about the future of water scarcity and communities that have water crises. But I always say just to be really mindful of your water usage, whether that's inside or outside. And it's something that it's just really efficient, and it's much better for the environment. Even though we look around and you see water everywhere you look, not everywhere in the world is that lucky, and it's just great to conserve.
In my winter one is turning the thermometer down just 2 degrees.
Yes.
Wear a sweater.
Oh yeah. I grew up in a sweater house. We were not allowed to touch the thermostat.
No,
Yeah.
I know. You wore your blankets to breakfast.
Yeah.
And part of, we had talked about with inflation on the rise, some of these environment savings can also be cost savings.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When you look at the price of maintaining your home and just gas for your vehicle, it makes sense to go green and, pick up your bike for your commute, or go for a walk, or like I said, just be more efficient and cost effective. You can't lose. Mm-hmm.
So just to let people know, Discovery
Yes.
Center is open.
Yes, yeah, they are open 7 days a week from 9 to 4, and you can always check out our Science North exhibits there. When we have our traveling exhibits come through, you will definitely hear about it between the Science North and the city, because it's always such an awesome, fun event and they're free and very accessible. And we have the school groups coming through, but people are allowed to come themselves too. But I cannot stress enough, especially if you have kids, they will love it so much. But even just a rainy day, cold day, you just don't feel like hanging out outside in the beautiful wilderness we have, the Discovery Center and Science North in there is just such a great experience. It's really Kenora's best kept secret. So I encourage everyone to check it out.
And you have talked throughout the interview about how important community engagement is.
Oh, absolutely. And just because we are all community-based, right? Everything we do, we were out at public events, we were going to schools, we were having kids camps come with us. And like I said, this Science Center, we just want people to really feel a part of it and feel at home and feel that they want to be there and they're represented there. And also too, it's just the best way to know what they think is cool and what are their gaps in knowledge, what do they want to learn about, and how can we deliver that to you in a very cool way.
So I'm going to suggest that people go and visit the Discovery Center, look at the exhibits,
Absolutely.
and then email you.
Yeah, and being in community engagement, like I'm really happy. If you have a cool idea or a question, email me, because I'm really excited to discuss anything with you guys. We actually were at a climate youth summit for high school kids yesterday, and they just had such incredible, awesome ideas. And even everyone in Science North, we have our silos, because my background is wildlife and aquatic biology, and I really love that stuff. But everyone just has really different interests and just really great ideas on how to deliver it and what they think would be cool. And if the public thinks it's cool, they're going to come out and experience it.
Well, thank you. Okay, so everyone, go down to the Discovery Center and send your emails in.
Yes, definitely. Thanks so much.
Until next time.